Good evening, Fernwood. It is your city kid friend Neil here, and it's time for us to get suburban with a rerun season episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today we are watching episode 24 of the series. That's February 5th, 1976. Let's do a little bit of catching up. After the episode we saw yesterday, Mary and Dennis Foley have started to make out. Mary seems to be appreciating the attention, but is somewhat ambivalent about this, especially since Tom has approached her to start to talk about reconciling their marriage. Loretta and Charlie are on the road to Nashville and have run into a few dilemmas along the way, especially one that maybe doesn't want to get spoken about, but there was the threat of sexual violence from some hillbilly folks that they ran into when they had some car trouble. Luckily, yesterday, that storyline seems to have petered out completely, so you're not going to be seeing the other Merle and Vassar on the road anywhere in this show as far as I've seen so far. Well, I'm glad of that. There's another storyline that got dropped in episode 23 that really, when I say dropped, I mean dropped. Like, it was forgotten after that, and that is Leroy Fetters and Blanche Fetters getting a call from their runaway daughter, Jenny. We're never going to hear from them again as far as I've seen through the first season, so I mention it only because, hey, we have one episode where two storylines seem to go absolutely nowhere, and I was looking forward to seeing some of that resolved, but you're not gonna. But if you're curious, go ahead and look up episode 23. So that's our recap of the series up until now. Let's go ahead and get started, and we'll talk about it afterward.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
I never wanted this marriage from the start. It was wrong. It is wrong. You can have Heather. She'll get over it. Nah, that's no good. He'll believe me. I've always wanted this marriage. From the start. It was right. It is right. We have a wonderful family. And no matter what happens, we'll survive.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, that's okay. You're supposed to be here at 7. It's 10:30.
Yeah, I know, but union meeting lasts till 10. Well, about 10:10, and then I came right home. I'm sorry, but, well, look, you said you wanted to talk, so let's talk.
I thought you wanted to talk.
You said you wanted to talk.
You go first.
Ladies first.
All right. It's been 8 weeks, Tom, since you made love to me, and I just want to know why. I mean,
Mary, come on. This is not keeping score. This isn't a football
you said
game.
that I should talk.
Yeah, but I mean.
Right, so don't interrupt me.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Say what you have to say. Go ahead.
What I have to say is that I just want to know why you haven't made love to me for 8 weeks. I mean, I'm trying to be very adult about this. Is it really that you're just not in the mood, or is it that you find me repulsive? Don't you love me, Tom?
Oh, come on. Don't be ridiculous, honey. Of course I love you.
Why haven't you made love to me? Why?
I don't know. There's just something in this house. I don't know.
What do you mean? An odor?
No, I'm not talking about that.
Well, so what are you talking about?
Honey, there's a pressure. There's a pressure in this house.
Well, I mean, like, what kind of a pressure?
A pressure.
right, so then there's a pressure. I mean, but that's now. What about then?
When?
8 weeks ago. I mean, there couldn't have been any kind of pressure 8 weeks ago.
Honey, maybe there was. Maybe that's when you started to talk about it. Maybe that's when the pressure started to build.
Not for me. I mean, for you, maybe. I love you, Tom. I love you. I mean, I love you right now as much as I loved you from the very beginning. I love the way you walk. I love the way you smile. I just love you. And, I don't mean necessarily only for sex. I mean, for your comfort, for when you hold me, and for when you make me feel safe. Tom, I miss you so much.
You sure you want to keep on driving?
Yeah, I really think that we ought to get to Louisville tonight, you know. I mean, we've lost so much time already, and here it is already nighttime, and we're just a few teensy miles outside of Fernwood.
You sure you wouldn't like to stop at one of these motels?
You know, somebody told me that I'd say no to going to a motel with you. I'd have told them they's as crazy as a two-headed loony bird. But, Charlie, we really do have to exercise some control, you know, over my career and everything. Because, well, I mean, we can stay in all the motels we want after we've signed that $2 million contract in Nashville.
Yeah.
You know, it is nice to think about being in a motel with you, though. I mean, it just makes me feel all giggly gook and scoochy, you know? I mean, it's almost as good as being in one with you.
Yeah, well, almost ain't quite. I mean, like the fella says, no substitute for the real thing.
Yeah.
Honey, don't look out. You'll get us all both in the ditch here. You really planning to sell that fella's song for him in Nashville?
Yeah, I got to, you know, I gave him my word.
That's a terrible song. And after what he had in mind to do with you?
Oh, honey, both he and his song are just sickeningly tacky, you know, but, well, I tell you, dear, when a man gives you a choice between selling his song or raping you, I'm gonna pick selling his song.
I sure am ashamed of how useless I was to you.
Oh, honey, you couldn't help it. And just think of it as an experience, you know? I mean, all artists have to have experiences because they're like the inspiration for their songs, you know? It's like already in the back of my head, there's been a song forming in my mind about this. I've already got a few lines. Listen to this. My love can have my... You know, it's real hard to sing when you're sitting down and you've got a stomach full of Oreos. Let's try it. My love can have my body. I'm glad he finds it fun. But no one else can touch it unless he's got a gun.
I love it. It's got a great beat.
Oh, great.
Honey, you sure you wouldn't like just a little shut-eye, you know? I mean, on account of you being pregnant and all.
Oh, baby boy, stop babying me. Save that for the baby.
Yeah, you really are an artist. You talking poetry even when you don't mean to. Listen. I want you to do me a favor.
What?
Just close up your eyes. Curl right up. Put your head here on my shoulder. And just try to get a little shut-eye.
Well, okay, maybe I will sleep just a teensy little bit.
All right, we're on the air in 10 seconds. How do I look?
Mutts up your hair just a little bit.
How's that?
Great.
All right, I want you to cut me in a medium close, okay?
Got it.
Good. Hi, this is your action reporter, Cleet Meisenheimer, at the scene of the accident, which this reporter informed you of exclusively from our Channel 6 Action Mobile Unit while en route to the scene. We're here in a location approximately 30 miles south of the Fernwood city limits on Highway 4. Well, this reporter was able to determine that the accident occurred between a vehicle occupied by Mr. and Mrs. Charles Hagers of Fernwood and a station wagon full of nuns. The police have determined that Sister Bernadette, the driver of the station wagon full of nuns, was not, and I repeat, was not under the influence of alcohol at the time of the accident. This reporter confirmed that determination after having an exclusive interview with Sister Bernadette. I learned that the 4 bottles of wine discovered under the front seat of this station wagon were purchased for sacramental purposes only and were still sealed at the time of the accident. This reporter has also learned exclusively that no charges will be brought against Charles Hagers, the driver of the other vehicle in which his lovely wife, Loretta, has incurred injuries as yet undetermined. Some of you regular viewers may remember that we almost had a program on Loretta Hagers, a semi-professional singer who has just completed a very successful engagement at the Capri Lounge at the Rosemont Bowling Alleys. We were to telecast a performance, however, we had to cancel so that we could bring you a tape-delayed coverage of Councilman Pedro Zapata's press conference in which he was to deny all charges of irregularity in the Department of Animal Regulations.
Loretta? Honey, baby, speak to me. Loretta? Honey, it's me, it's Charlie, it's your husband, honey. Speak.
Sister Bernadette, could you please give us the names of the passengers in your vehicle?
Well, Sister Teresa was the one on the the second blanket from the left. And Sister Veronica's the next blanket, starting this way.
Well, excuse me, sister, but how do you know who's who with just their feet sticking out?
Sister Teresa wears orthopedic shoes. And Sister Veronica has metal taps on her heels. She teaches tap dancing to the black children in the ghetto. She studied dancing and was planning on a career in vaudeville before she took her vows.
Oh, all right. Well, never mind pointing them all out. Just the names, please.
Well, there's Sister Margaret and Sister Angelica.
Excuse me a minute. Do I have to write sister in front of all their names?
No. Just the names.
There's Sister Florence and Sister Bridget and Sister Catherine, and I guess that's all.
Thank you very much.
Sister Florence wasn't allowed to go with us. Mother Superior was displeased with her because she broke the vow of silence on the tennis court.
Cross off Sister Florence. Now, about the accident.
I know we're not at fault.
But didn't you come around the curve at a
We were driving along singing Jesu, joy of man's desiring, and we couldn't have done any wrong.
Loretta, honey, speak to me. Honey, speak to me. Honey, please.
Charlie, baby boy.
Loretta. Hi.
What happened?
Oh, honey, we had an accident. Hit a station wagon full of nuns.
A station wagon full of nuns? Is that a sin?
Well, maybe if you're Catholic, but we're not Catholic, honey.
Oh, good.
Oh.
I mean, under the circumstances and everything, I mean, no offense to the Catholics.
Honey, are you all right? Does anything hurt? Is anything broken, honey? Are you all right?
No, I'm fine, baby boy. I don't feel a thing. I don't feel anything. I'm just, kind of numb all over.
You're numb all? Oh, honey. Hey, you, officer, where's those ambulances? Come on, man. You don't want this little lady dying here, do you? Come on, Loretta. Honey, they don't want you in heaven, honey. They don't need your music up there, honey. We need your voice right here. They got all the music they want. Besides, you're a country western singer. You need a guitar and a little rhythm section to back you up. You wouldn't sound any good with a harp at all, honey. Loretta?
I don't know, maybe the truth is that you just don't love me.
Oh, come on. I love you, I love you, I love you. I mean, can't you get that through your head? I love you.
I know you say it, but you don't show it. I don't see it. I don't feel it.
Come on, Mary. I mean, is going to bed the only way to demonstrate love? Why don't you take a look at what happens in this house every single day, huh? I mean, I get up in the morning, right? I eat my breakfast, I put on my cap, right? I grab my lunch bucket, and I kiss you goodbye, and I go to work every single day.
Oh, except for Saturday and Sunday.
Well, there you go again, keeping score.
No. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't understand what that has to do with what we're talking about.
But let me ask you a question. What do I do every single night, huh? What do I do?
I feel that you avoid me.
That's not what I meant.
I thought that's what we were talking about.
No, let's get back to the point, okay? The point is that making love, going to bed, is not the only way to demonstrate love. I mean, I prove my love to you every single day by giving you my whole life, honey.
But I give my whole life to you, and I still want you in bed. Tom, you're still not telling me what's wrong.
Mary, look, if you love me, how could you keep putting me through such hell? How?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that if you loved me, you couldn't keep driving me crazy like this. But that's it, isn't it, Mary? You don't love me, do you? You don't.
What?
You don't love me, Mary. You don't.
Tom, please. I do.
Well, if you love me, then how come you're doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Look, I love you too, damn it, I do.
Then what's the problem?
I don't know what the problem is. All I know that it isn't just my problem.
Tom, I hate to tell you, but it is your problem.
No, it's not.
It is!
No,
Unless you tell me what's wrong with me, this is your problem!
No, it's not my problem. I'll tell you. You want to know what's wrong with us? You want to know?
What?
I'll tell you what's wrong with you.
What?
You want to know? I'll tell you what's wrong with you. This is what's wrong with you. Number one, you yell at me too much. And that's that. You're yelling like you are now. And that's a threat. You're threatening me.
I am not threatening you.
Yes, you are threatening me, Mary. I mean, you're talking about our marriage busting up. Now, that's a threat. And you're yelling at me like you never yelled before in your life. Now, that's a threat.
Tom, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, you're driving me crazy. I mean, what are you saying, that I'm too aggressive? Is that it?
Yeah, you're too aggressive and you're too passive.
Now?
Always, for God's sakes. Now, how the hell can a man make love to a woman in a situation like this? How?
But I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about 8 weeks ago, Tom. It is so humiliating to have to keep bringing up why you don't want me. That is so humiliating, I can't tell you.
Why the hell do you keep hanging on to 8 weeks ago when we're here now? Why? You think that's humiliating?
What do you mean we're here now? What do you mean the reason I bring up 8 weeks ago, Tom, is because that's how long I've been waiting patiently. I've been waiting for 8 weeks.
Look at you. Just look at you. Your arms are waving like that. Your voice is screeching. And your eyes are bulging out like some bug. And you say make love to that? Who the hell wants to make love to that? Who?
Oh, so it's the name of that?
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. That's what you said. You said, I don't make love to that.
But that's not all I said.
No, but you ended up by saying that. That. I don't make love to that.
All right, I said that because that's what the hell you're behaving like. You're behaving like a that. And you've been behaving like that for a long time. You know, 8 weeks ago, and I don't want to talk about that, but 8 weeks ago, you must have been behaving like that. That's it. That's it. And I don't want to make love to that now, and I probably didn't want to make love to it even then. That's the truth, Mary. That's it, Mary. That's it, isn't it? I mean, you must have been like that 8 weeks ago. Isn't that right? You must have been. I mean, it's logical. Figure it out, okay? I mean, if you were here now, you must have been there then, right? Okay? In order to get here now, you had to be there then. And I don't want to make love to that now, and I probably didn't want to make love to it even then, and that's why.
Are you through?
Yeah.
Good. Because so am I. So are we.
What do you mean?
It's over, Tom. It's just too much humiliation and rejection. And I just don't see how much more humiliation and rejection a person can take. I can't take anymore.
God, I love you. I love you. I love you so much. Oh, God, you're my whole life.
You know, it's the first time you've touched me in 8 weeks and 3 days.
Oh, God.
Now here are some scenes from the next episodes of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman.
Doctor, excuse me, but I realize that you're under a lot of tension. And, you know, in times like these, there's a lot of commotion about malpractice, insurance suits, and all that. But could you please just tell Charlie about his baby?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you, you see. It's not his baby.
Oh, my God. What a lousy, rotten thing to do. That's a shame. Hey, I'm really sorry, man. I'm really sorry. And on your birthday, you know, what an awful thing to have to happen to a person. I mean, that's awful.
It may not be just me.
If you've got a couple of minutes, there are some things I'd like to talk to you about.
I think I better be sitting down for this.
Either she has the surgery,
Or?
I think she chipped her elbow. I mean, I couldn't really make out what Mom said.
That episode is like a bomb dropping after another bomb drops. It's just... whoa. I need to catch my breath after that one. And it starts with Tom coming to Mary. He had promised to be there at 7:30 and he shows up late. And Tom and Mary have very big problems. And if you ask me, they each love each other. Like, that is something that I stand by. But they've got huge problems. And let me just cut to that whole conversation because it's like the top of the episode and the end of the episode. But Mary is really just desolate because she's not getting something out of Tom. And that's something, in this case, specifically sexual attention. You know, I do feel like Tom does give to the relationship, but I could imagine this as being really ruinous to Mary's self-esteem for herself, just at that level. And I'm sure there are deeper levels that we can take it, but that's the surface level of that conversation, because I don't know that I can unpack it all. But and Tom reacts out of defense because clearly, as I've said so many times, his manliness is something that he questions. And, you know, maybe this fight that they had was ugly. And I forgot that the fight was in this episode because I was here for the other part. But to see Tom just attack Mary like that was awful. And I remembered that at the end of this that they would get back together, but it's still not good to see. And even though they're back together, and yes, after this episode, tomorrow, if we were to watch that, you would see that they did sleep together. But that's not a solution to the problem. They still have the problem. Then we've got a station wagon full of nuns. And it looks like the Merle and Vassar storyline, the Merle, the two hillbillies that they ran into, was something that looked like it was going to be a storyline that really gets derailed by what happens next in the series. And suffice it to say that for a lot of the upcoming weeks of the show, there's a question of what's going to happen to Loretta as we see her in hospital. And I think I'll let you wait a little bit until next week to see where we go with that. But yeah, I mean, I would say that I was really bothered by the Merle and Vassar storyline in general, so I'm really glad that it just disappeared. But yeah. So we have Mary and Tom coming back together, but not really coming back. Well, I mean, they are going to live in the same home, but they still have a lot to work out, and it is not just one night in bed. And Loretta and Charlie have such big plans, and maybe we'll see what happens there. So today I'd like to shine a spotlight on a show that has made me feel a lot of things, and that is Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. It's 2 seasons. I just saw the end of season 2 today, and I gotta say, there is so much emotional depth in this show. It is a show about a young programmer in San Francisco and her family and friends. The young woman discovers that she has a superpower and how it complicates her life. It's not a superhero show, it's actually a musical. And I'll tell you, I definitely have broken down crying in many of ugly crying in many of the episodes of this series, and I really appreciate it. So if you would like to see the show, the trailer is going to go right here. Check it out. It's for free on Peacock. You know, you just got to download an app and all that. And all the episodes are there up through season 2. We don't know yet if there's going to be a season 3. Last I saw in news reports, they were still waiting to see if a season 3 was going to get approval. I'm hoping that we do, because I think there's a lot more good that show could do for the world. Thank you so much for coming to join me here for our daily TV night. I very much appreciate all of you. Thanks for sharing comments and thoughts and feelings and all that stuff. This is the end of Rerun Season Week 1. Next week, we will start Rerun Season Week 2 of 2. There are 2 weeks of Rerun Season. I'm not telling you exactly how far we're going to go in the future on Monday, but hey, we like a surprise. Thank you again for joining me, everyone, and we will see you next week in Fernwood.